I'm going to focus on Uttar Pradesh this week because that's going to be an election to watch out for. What was being seen as a straight fight for the BJP is now turning out to be an interesting one with several players now coming into the fold. I'm Pallavi Ghosh and my one take this week asks this question that who can be that woman in Uttar Pradesh? Is it Priyanka Gandhi Vadra? Well, Mayawati has been reduced to a shadow of her former self. She's also losing out on her traditional Dalit vote bank. Many of them are dismissing her off as a kind of a B team of the BJP. She's also losing many of her loyal supporters, some of them who are actually hopping across to a Samajwadi Party, some who have also gone across to the BJP. Chandrasekhar Azad is also making inroads into her traditional Dalit vote bank, and therefore the question comes back to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Now, the Congress is almost nowhere as far as relevance goes in that state. First of all, they've been wiped out on their own pocket boroughs or what was their stronghold like Raebareli and Amethi. Now, today they have just one member of parliament from Raebareli, and there is no guarantee that next time round that seat can remain with the Congress party. If Sonia Gandhi does not contest, who else is going to contest in her place? Apart from that, as far as the MLAs goes, very few of them, handful of them, they are rebels. Many of them have joined the Samajwadi Party and the BJP. Jitin Prasad, who was a member of parliament of the Congress party from the state, is now no longer with them, but is now with the BJP. So my question then comes back to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. As she is the Uttar Pradesh in charge for the Congress party and she's going to set sail on a mission UP from July onwards, is she the only choice really left for the Congress party in the state? Should she be announced as the UP CM face for the Congress party? Will that really work? And will that put the Congress back into a bit of a reckoning and also bring some relevance to them? Or is that too much of a risk to take? Now, in the years of covering Congress party, if there's one thing I've noticed, especially from the Sonia Gandhi times, is that there is a concerted attempt by the Gandhis and the close aid of the Gandhis to shield them from any amount of risk. You know, always finding a safe seat for them, sending them to campaign in those areas where they're almost sure or they are 100% certain that the Congress is going to win from there, not taking any out-of-the-box decision, no big risk as far as the Gandhis are concerned. That seems to have become a traditional style. Many of who felt and gave this feedback that, for example, in 2014, Rahul Gandhi should actually have been pitted opposite Modi as the PM face, or at least in 2019 when Chaukidar Chor Hai and the Rafale issue became a big issue for him to take on the Prime Minister. Many, of course, shooed it away, the thought, because they said that would be too much of a risk to take. What if he loses? We saw what happened in Amethi. Over there also, towards the end, very few campaigns by him. And then they decided to go in for a safe seat like Wayanad because again they wanted to shield the Gandhis, because what is the Congress party without the Gandhis? Despite the fact that many of them are now begun to say that perhaps the Gandhis should cede face, but they still remain the glue, in my opinion, who can actually keep a party together which is so deeply divided and fragmented and with so many egos and ambitions which it has to grapple with at every level down to the top. And this is why I'm saying this, because it in a sense answers my question which I'm asking of you, is should Priyanka Gandhi Vadra be declared as the CM face for UP? That would be just too much, a mother of all risks to take. First of all, she would have to contend with the BJP. Yes, there's a certain amount of anger with the Yogi government, and I would say a substantial anger as far as the COVID management goes. And on this, both Rahul as well as Priyanka Gandhi Vadra have been on top of it in attacking Yogi Adityanath and the BJP government over there, and even at the center. Is that enough? The second important issue, of course, is that of crimes against women. We saw the most aggressive Priyanka Gandhi Vadra when she would actually march down to Hathras. Those still pictures of her where she was actually being jostled by the security and stopped by the police. And you know, there were posters which are put up and tweets which are put up by the Congress leaders where they were projecting her as a Durga, a reincarnation of Indira Gandhi, who was considered to be, a mother goddess, someone who took on the high and the mighty. That image for now seems to be facing a bit of a lull. Where is she is what many of them are asking. Of course, we get daily tweets from her, and some of them are very provocative. Some of them are very, very strict on the Yogi government and on the BJP government at the center as well. But you know, a politician also needs to go out to the ground. As she's going to set sail to hit the road from July onwards, many ask this question, isn't it a little bit too late? So I'm not just talking about the Yogi factor. Suddenly you're seeing Akhilesh Yadav also now stepping out. And the reason is because he did very well as far as the Panchayat elections are concerned, and so they are very enthused. So what was seen as only a ek-tarfa fight in Uttar Pradesh is now interesting battle turning up between the SP and the BJP, and with the AIMIM also stepping in, BSP also saying that we are going to contest on all the seats alone and no question of an alliance. Brings me back to a question of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. In this situation, will the Congress party or she herself want to take the risk of becoming the CM face? The second important factor is the track record. She campaigned extensively in Raebareli and in Amethi as well. We saw the results, what happened in the Congress party. And I'm not just talking about the Lok Sabha, but I'm also talking about the last assembly elections. The Congress hasn't done well. She was in charge of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, with Jyotiraditya being in charge of Western Uttar Pradesh. In most of the pockets of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, where she travelled extensively, the Congress party hasn't done well at all. Wherever she has gone and campaigned, of course she has grabbed eyeballs because she is very savvy. She knows how to mix with the people. She has that charm, she has that charisma. And of course, whether you like it or not, to use that cliche which the Congress leaders want to use, she does remind the people of Indira Gandhi, but that's the past. We saw in Assam, for example, she grabbed a lot of eyeballs. Well, the Congress party did well there. They inched up, but was it only because of her? Which brings me back to the question, and I'm seeing all the social media reactions. Of course, many of them think that she's a big hope for the Congress party. But what does it mean for her? Quickly, before I start wrapping up. First of all, if the Congress party still doesn't do well, leave alone winning elections, if their performance is very poor, will that not be the end of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra as a politician or as a political leader? I know we also say that in politics, defeat is just a matter of time. You know, that should not be a kind of putting you on a back foot. But can they really afford this? Because the next big elections will be Lok Sabha elections. That's one factor. Second, would she, who projects herself as a national leader, want to restrict herself to being just a UP CM face? Won't that bring her directly into a battle, not just with Yogi, but also Akhilesh Yadav? Would the Congress party actually want to take that risk? Because at some point of time, there could be a formation of a federal front. Who knows, for the next Lok Sabha election, where Akhilesh Yadav could actually be a part of that. Will that there not be an acrimony between, say, the Congress and SP, which could get reflected over there? The reactions which I'm going back feel that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra may have that charisma. She is a woman, and we talk about how a woman can perhaps take on Yogi as well as the Modi factor. But at the end of the day, you also have to be a successful politician. You also have to be an astute politician. You also have to be a 24/7 politician. On those criteria, does this really give her that advantage? Do give in your reactions. We are going to be back more the next time round. Thank you so much for watching.